Welcome into another Red Out podcast. My name's Devin. Hope you all have had a good couple weeks. Sorry about last. We are just trying to get everything back on schedule here and talk basketball and football and volleyball and lady tops. Hey, Matt, how's it going, bud?
What's up, brother?
And here we go.
Hey, how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Crazy all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
I am not ashamed to admit in the past, I've needed a therapist. We all need someone, and it's a strong person who can admit it. I talked to my doctor, who referred me to a therapist, and I really didn't have much say as to who the therapist was. But with this episode's sponsor, BetterHelp, you do. You can filter out who you would like to talk to, age, gender, religion, and more to pair you with the person who works best for you. And if the person isn't exactly who you were wanting, you're not stuck. You can switch counselors. BetterHelp strives to offer affordable, professional, and accessible online therapy. So go to betterhelp.com/redout today to save 10%. By doing this, you not only support us, you can work toward a brighter, healthier you. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
Yeah.
So how's it going, bud?
Oh, good, man. I've been grinding this week, man.
You was grinding last week.
Yeah, dude. Let's see. I think I've had 12 appointments so far, and it's like Wednesday
Good Lord.
since Monday. Yeah.
If I had a week like that, it'd be killer. But anyway. So, honestly, I had a horrible weekend.
Sorry.
Friday afternoon, I ended up going home from work right after lunch, and I had this pain right in my cheekbone. And I'm like, I know it's my sinuses. It's killing me. I'm going to go home and take something. And I had already taken Sudafed, which I thought, well, it'll dry me up and I'll be okay. And went home and, ended up like Googling all these things. Like, can I take this with Sudafed? No. Can I take this with Sudafed? No. So I'm like, okay, so I guess I get to sit here and suffer all night because I took Sudafed. Great. Good job, Devin.
Genius.
So then of course I didn't sleep at all that night. 4:00 in the morning, I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to go to an urgent care because my primary doctor's closed now. So I looked up like what time they opened, and I ended up going at like 8:30. Got up at 7, got dressed, and I'm starting to head out the door, and my wife and little one are like, "Where are you going?" I'm going to urgent care. Get something for this. Oh, well, we'll come with you. Damn it.
Wonderful.
Well, it's okay for them to come, but it's just one of those things. It's like, one, I'm sick, and two, I know how this is going to go. My daughter is going to get bored within the first few seconds of walking in the place. Yeah. There's about 50 other kids going to be coughing. My daughter's going to lick everything in that office. Because she's 3, so I know she's going to lick everything.
So your daughter does that too? My 3-year-old licks stuff too, and I'm like, "What are you doing, you weirdo? Quit freaking licking everything."
Went to Walmart last night. She was licking the shopping cart.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that has COVID all over it. So there's that. But she's good. She has no COVID right now. But she's got that 3-year-old coffee snottiness that they all have, and you just go
right.
You're just a petri dish right now. Yeah.
Is she in daycare or you?
She is. She is.
Okay. Oh yeah.
She is 100% a petri dish.
Oh yeah.
And
been there.
So I basically get everything she brings home. I've had strep more in the past couple years than I have had in my entire adult life.
Oh yeah. My kids will not be sick after they get out of daycare. I mean,
it's got to be something bad if they do, dude.
Yeah, for real.
Because mine's the same way.
Well,
she will bring everything home. I'm pretty sure her and I both had strep at the same time. That was fun. I've been tested for COVID like 4 or 5 times in the past couple years. Negative every time, by the way.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. I'll probably get COVID tomorrow, but I don't have COVID right now. The funny thing
I feel
is,
you, man. Go
the
ahead.
funny thing is I go into the urgent care, talking to like the nursing assistant, whatever she was, and I'm like, I'm congested. I know it's a sinus infection. Like my head's killing me. Blah 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 blah. And she's like, well, I think you've got a cough too. And I'm like, I thought, well, I haven't coughed since I've been in here. I'm pretty sure I haven't coughed the entire time. She's like, well, I think I heard a cough. So we're going to test you for COVID. We're going to test you for COVID. And I'm like, oh, good Lord. I was like, I don't think I've got COVID. Well, just to be sure, it won't hurt nothing. And I thought, okay, that's fine. Whatever. It was negative. Rapid and the other test. So I was like, really want to be like, no, you don't. So, so that's how my weekend went. And, I made a quick $20 last night on the Western Murray game. So there's that.
Okay. All right.
So they can eat it. I did. I actually saw the odds and I was like, they gave Western plus 100 straight money line. And I thought, hey, if I put 10 on it, I get 10. So I thought, you know what? I'll put 20 on it and I'll get 20. So I doubled my money.
Yeah,
pretty quick. Man. So that was fun. And speaking of talking about Western, let's get into volleyball real quick while I've been killing enough time.
Sure.
Talking about me.
I'm sure that was riveting for our listeners. You're welcome.
Talking about my sinus infection and why I've been gone for weeks.
Yeah, I wanted to. Can I talk about this sore I got on my upper thigh? Or should we talk volleyball?
First off, I wasn't like vulgar about it, like talking about the oozing or anything nasty like that. But anyway, volleyball. Okay. So Kaylee Bauer, she got a couple of Conference USA awards for this week. I want to mention those first. She was the setter of the week, so she's a good sitter. Good job. No, seriously, good job. She's obviously the person who sets up the kills, the spikes, whatever. And so awesome job to her. And she is also named Conference USA All Academic Team. So not only is she great at setting stuff up, she can also she's pretty smart. So congratulations. It didn't tell like her GPA or anything, but I'm assuming it's like way up there.
Gotta be. Probably well into the threes. I wouldn't know what that's like.
I wasn't. Hey, honestly, I had a college professor who freshman year who popped my brainiac bubble of mine, and she said, like almost verbatim here, she said, you may have gotten A's in high school, but you won't here. And she was talking to like the whole class. And I was like, okay. So as long as I'm passing, I'm guessing I'm okay with this. So we'll take it. And I got a degree. So we're good. Anyway. So like I said, Kaylee Bauer, she's gotten 2 awards. And of course, the best part of this past week is the Lady Tops thumped MTSU on their senior day. So, and that was the 74th regular season conference victory for WKU. So,
yes, sir. Yeah, I thought it was I didn't realize, but Middle apparently is actually pretty good this year. I think they only had 6 losses heading into, these 2 that we played in Murfreesboro. So actually a pretty solid team, and only gave up 1 set to them on the road. So nice,
that's amazing.
Nice momentum going into conference tournament, which, by the way, y'all is coming up Friday, November 17th. The Tops play Jacksonville State, the 8th seed Jacksonville State. So they should mow straight through them, hopefully. But it is at Liberty, and so the Tops will probably have to find a way to get through Liberty to get to the championship on the road. They struggled with them. Actually went to 5 sets, one game earlier in the year. So could be interesting, but they're pretty much a lock to be in the NCAA tournament. They have a very outside shot of possibly hosting, but I seriously doubt it. They're ranked number 22 right now. So they have to move up 6 spots in the eyes of the committee by the end of conference tournament. So probably pretty much not going to happen. But
Well, I was thinking, I mean, like, we don't have the competition in Conference USA to pump them up, and that's what
right.
sucks.
Especially with Rice leaving the conference. That was the one sport that Rice is remotely good at.
Yeah.
But hey, AAC, right? Hope you all enjoy that women's volleyball ranking they're going to have every few years. But anyway, Rice was obviously the biggest competition. I mean, Conference USA is decent in volleyball this year, but there's no real standout competition beside. I mean, maybe Middle is really the only one that really should give WKU any trouble. So they should mow straight through Conference USA tournament and come out with their 75th straight championship.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I mean, it's. I was thinking about this earlier, and I mean, it's great for volleyball. So don't get me wrong, and don't mistake what I'm saying here. But like, this is almost like dynasty mode when we were kids and playing NCAA football.
Yeah.
Like, at what point do you stop playing? Because, like, I mean, like I said, it's the 74th regular season conference victory. They're going to win. Hopefully, as long as something crazy doesn't happen, they'll win the Conference USA tournament. We're going to start the NCAA tournament, and hopefully, everything will line up, and the Lady Tops will go pretty far in Conference USA's tournament. So, fingers crossed that everything works out.
Yeah. So, speaking of going far, in that bracket, obviously they play Jacksonville State 11. Let's see, it's actually 10 a.m. Friday on ESPN Plus, 10 a.m. Central on ESPN Plus. And then they play the winner of UTEP Liberty. So obviously Liberty is the home team. If you draw Liberty, you've got to play against the crowd as well. But it's a 10 a.m. match on Saturday. And then they would play in the championship against the winners of New Mexico State, La Tech, MTSU, and FIU.
Oh, wow.
On Sunday at 11 o'clock Central on ESPN Plus.
So that's the 19th. That's cool.
Yeah, so check it
definitely, out. Support Lady Tops. If you're in that area, go to it, support them. If you're not, watch it on ESPN Plus, root for them. Hey, support the Lady Tops volleyball, because this is a Western dynasty that we're watching. I mean, this is historic.
Absolutely, and they are positioning for something important. They do have the outside shot of hosting, and certainly the more that they win, the better position they put themselves heading into the tournament. And it continues the Travis Hudson legacy and his legendary status at WKU.
So, how do you get to host the tournament? How did we not get it?
For Conference USA?
Yes.
I mean, they just have a rotation of places that they think are competent enough to hold championships, and so
we were ruled out.
No, we hosted. I forget when we hosted. It may have been last year.
It may have been. I don't remember. It's been a year. So
yeah, I believe we hosted last year, but I mean we've been in the rotation plenty of times. They can't always have it at Western, or a certain school, because that's kind of unfair, because it gives you a huge.
I mean, I would assume you would want it at the team that had the regular season champion, but it's sure, yeah. Let them just go to whatever looks pretty.
That makes sense. I mean, you'd think that they'd have the most interest. We did play last year. It was at Western, so I mean, it's just like a normal. A lot of smaller conferences have the games at random campus sites, and they just kind of go through a rotation of centralized places. So anyway, this year it's at Liberty. I don't know how Liberty earned immediately to the ability to host.
I know, right? I think that should be a seniority thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least do, I don't know, La Tech or Middle. FIU would be nice and quiet. Whatever.
I mean, honestly, I would assume that okay, so Bowling Green was last year. Okay, Western wins wins Conference USA tournament or the conference regular season, and then it's like, okay, well, who hasn't hosted in several years? Oh, Middle hasn't. Okay, FIU hasn't. Oh, okay. I mean, FIU's in Miami. There's plenty of places for teams to stay in that area.
Right.
Middle is right next to Tennessee or Nashville, right next to Tennessee, right next to Nashville, Tennessee. So there's plenty of places to stay there. La Tech is in Ruston, which that's in the middle of a swamp, so you could stay at an alligator farm. That's cool. But no joke. I mean, I feel like some of these, I feel like they should have gotten bids before Liberty, and plus I'm biased against Liberty now, so there's that.
Freaking Liberty.
I can't stand them. Anyway, it's becoming my new rival. Who is the Flames? I don't get that. Is that supposed to be the Holy Spirit here? Come on, people.
That may actually be quite the reference, actually. That may be what it is.
Probably actually is right, and I was just being...
Yeah, you just blasphemed the Holy Lord, but I hope you...
Well, first off, when if I get to the gates and they're reading off my offenses and they go, you blasphemed against the Holy Ghost by making fun of Liberty, I'm going to be like, it was Liberty? I mean, I liked Western, and he's going to be like, granted, okay, we'll give you a break on that one. But the next time, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's it. That's going to go down. All right. So in the notes, just put that Devin is going to hell.
Probably. So, Lady Tops.
Yes.
Lady Tops basketball ended up signing 2 girls on National Signing Day. We got a high school senior named Tori James. So welcome aboard, Miss James. She is a 6-foot senior at Rossview High in Clarksville, Tennessee. She averages 16.8 points per game, 8.1 rebounds, 2 blocks as a junior. Obviously, they haven't played a lot of the senior year for them. And we also have a JUCO transfer in Kaylee Rose West. She is a 6'1" forward, currently playing at Iowa Community College. She was one of the top junior JUCO forwards in the nation. So
very cool.
And she averages 6 points per game and 4 rebounds. So
let's go. Yeah. So Devin, have you gotten to see the Lady Tops at all yet?
No, I have not. No,
I knew the answer to that one.
I honestly, the other night I was going to try and watch basketball, and we've been pretty slammed at work, and so it was me and the 3-year-old, and I thought I will lose this argument to watch a basketball game right now, so I will not be able to watch this game.
I got you. Yeah, I've seen those the TikToks or whatever where the dad is watching his little tablet and he's got a 70-inch TV.
Yeah, a 94-inch TV, and the kids watching.
And the kids watching,
Coco Melon or something. Crap. Yeah.
You seem bitter, buddy. Are you okay?
Maybe a little bitter, but no. Honestly, the funniest thing is we'll come home, fixing dinner, and we'll get ready to sit down, and we're like, okay, what do we want to watch while we're eating dinner? And my daughter will be like, Frozen. And I'm like, hell no. And she'll be like, well, let's watch Snow White, which is her new favorite now. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, let's watch something everybody can watch. And then she'll go, Bob's Burgers. So shout out Bob's Burgers there, if you know what Bob's Burgers is. So we've as a family, we've been watching Bob's Burgers. And I'm not even kidding when I tell you this. I really used to watch it a lot. And whenever she was little, I would do her 2, 3, 4 in the morning feedings. I would turn on Bob's Burgers because it's a 20-minute show. And then by the time the show was over, she was already asleep, and I was ready to go back to bed. So it worked out perfect. But yeah, so No, I have not watched any Lady Tops games, but I do know they are 3-0 right now. They beat Mercer 70-64. They beat Southern Utah 76-62, and they also beat Cornell 62-56 the other day.
That is correct. So since we last had our podcast, they have played 3 regular season games, and they're all against. Cornell's not that great of a team, but Mercer was in the tournament a couple years ago. Quality program. They've had a coach there forever that's taken them to multiple tournaments. They didn't make it last year, but quality win to start the season. And I mean the Lady Tops look pretty solid actually. I've been very impressed with them. They've got some good chemistry. It seems like they like each other, which is always nice because some of these Lady Topper teams have not been that cohesive. The Southern Utah win at Southern Utah. Southern Utah made the tournament last year. They went on this random trip to Utah and came out with a 14-point victory. They basically dominated the whole game. I think there was like 4 minutes that Southern Utah had a lead in the entire game at home as an NCAA tournament team that returned several starters. So it was a really, really nice win. And then Cornell was way more of a blowout than it looks like. I mean, obviously it was only a 6-point win. They kind of melted down there at end. They tried to play some subs and it didn't quite work out that well. Cornell got hot and anyway made it interesting at the end, but it was also a wire to wire type of win, and it was really nice to see them in these 3 games. I don't know how long it's been since they started 3-0, but they do play tonight here in about 8 minutes.
I was about to say,
yeah,
I was
they
just
play
right.
Vanderbilt. So by the time this airs, obviously they will have played Vanderbilt. If they somehow win that one, seriously watch out. But either way, I'm telling y'all, this Lady Topper team has something going on. I don't know if they're gonna, I don't know if they're gonna be better than Middle or whatever. Because Middle last year was, I believe they were ranked by the time we got to postseason play and everything. But I mean, they're going to be right there with Middle, in my opinion, for Conference USA. And if Liberty or somebody else is good, fine. But I'm telling you, they seem like a little different than some of the other Greg Collins teams. So I would definitely keep my eye on them. I would go support them because they actually are pretty good. They're interesting to watch. They've got some good players. They can shoot. And they've got a lot of young players that really look like they can play. The other thing that I see with them is finally, this is like 2 decades worth of waiting to have anyone over 6'2" that can actually play and actually do something more than maybe fill in some spot work. I mean, they have 2 6'3" girls 3 actually, that are actually contributing. Odette Betancourt's 6'2", but anyway, she plays bigger and she's actually really looks like a decent player. Last year she hardly played. We've got a freshman. I had the roster pulled up. Caitlin Staley, I believe is her name. Caitlin Staley. She is a true freshman. She's 6'3". First game against Mercer, she had 6 blocks.
Wow.
Came out, and it was the first time since Ivy Brown that anybody had 6 blocks, which obviously we know the legendary Ivy Brown, who's now Ivy Woodcock and is an assistant coach. But I mean, I'm fired up about the Lady Tops. There's some nice pieces there. Staley is I'm not saying she's Crystal Kelly or anything, because Crystal Kelly was like once in a lifetime talent. But, I mean, she has some of those qualities that she's actually a big girl that can actually do something and is not just a stiff board out there that can't do anything. Like, she can function. She's athletic. If she can control her fouls, she's going to be a force, and she's going to be something right now. So, I'm pumped for it.
I was going to say, that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's been a long time since we had some girls over 6'2" that I mean, it's been like early 2000s since we've actually had some size. So watch out.
I have got to check on some of the broadcasting stuff for the WKU versus KSU game coming next week on November 24th. Or I'm sorry, Bucknell is what I was looking for, not Kansas State. Sorry, because I don't see it. I don't see it's. Okay, it is on ESPN Plus. I'm sorry, I clicked on the Kansas State. I was a little ahead of that one.
Yeah, I believe now with the new TV deal, anything at home is going to be ESPN Plus with just about any sport.
Which, by the way, is awesome because I actually have ESPN Plus. I don't have the other ESPNs, 1 through 27, but I do have that one.
And you can watch those on ESPN Plus.
Yes.
Or watch ESPN.
All of those, apparently. You can watch all those games with no issues.
Yes, sir. So
sorry, I'm just adding these notes to.
Yep. Yeah, so the Tops play Vanderbilt. Obviously, by the time this airs, that will be over. Then they play Miami of Ohio on Saturday the 18th, and then Tuesday they play Bucknell in Dill Arena. So go check out the Lady Tops in Dill Arena on Tuesday. It is during the day. It's 11 a.m. It's Education Day. So if you want to hear 5,000 kids screaming, go to the game against Bucknell.
Will they though? And how old are these kids we're talking about?
It's usually like second grade to close to. I guess they're in high school. Some of them.
I was going to say high school ones probably won't say much because they're going to be like looking at their phones. Just saying.
Probably, yeah. That may be
some
true.
Of the girls, some of the kids may be excited.
It's seriously, especially for a girls' game, it gets really loud. Like if
That's
the
great.
game is close, they do, they scream during free throws and whatever, and it really is loud. It's hard to hear.
That's great. Not gonna argue that point at all because
they're furthering the topper tradition, brother. Those are the future toppers.
You want the kids to be excited. I'm not arguing that point at all because you want those kids to be excited and to want to go to those events and have some fun because what is the point otherwise?
You dang right, brother.
So men's basketball.
Yeah.
We are looking at we lost to Wichita State, which, that's neither here nor there. It happens. But it was a lot closer than I think we thought Coach Lutz would have been. Does that make sense?
Yeah, anytime that you go to, Wichita State is a freaking tough place to play. It doesn't matter. Anybody would struggle to go into Wichita State.
Everybody remembers that coach's wife from a few years back, so just picture that times 100,
So any result that you hang with Wichita State in Wichita is solid. And the fact that WKU, unfortunately broke the 3-point streak that's gone on since before we were born.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's necessarily broke or just let it fall.
Yeah.
Because
they took a ton.
Because when I think broke the streak, I'm like, oh, that's good. But it's more of they just let it just kind of died.
Yeah. However you want to put it, whatever death reference you want to make, it's gone. But the fact that we didn't make a single three and hung in there and had a chance at the end is amazing, given the fact that you were playing a quality program that, on the road, we've never really done well in Wichita. We've had, I think, a few games there, and it's never really been that pretty. And this was, if WKU, to put it in perspective, they missed over 23s. I think it was 21 or 22, whatever. If they would have made 4 or 5, they would have won the game. If they would have shot 20% from 3, they would have pretty much definitely won the game. And they just couldn't buy a 3. Some of it was rushed and stuff, but some of it was just kind of being snake bitten. Honestly, it was just nothing would go.
Well,
The
I
right
mean,
guys were shooting it. It just didn't happen.
and that's honestly, I'm going to throw this out there. Wichita State was cheating. They had different goals for us. I'm just saying.
That's it.
Just saying.
Yeah,
That's
they
how it
had,
worked
they had a
out.
10'3" rim on our
Yeah,
end.
they had a smaller rim, so we couldn't hit it. Just saying.
Mhm.
But
Carnivore.
Murray State and their crappy horse mascot, we beat them 86-81.
Mules.
Yeah. So, and I don't know who's racing out in Murray.
Right.
Racing to the Dollar General, maybe. Like, I don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Speaking of, okay, we had this turd burglar.
I wasn't really going to call him out, but I was just
Oh
going to talk crap.
no, man. No, he said he's going to be listening. So what's up, KD from Swacky? By the way, his handle is at ShoesUpBBN. So I'm not really sure how much of a real Murray fan he is. He's one of those kitty cat hybrid fans. But anyway, but he
Unless he's talking about the big navy blue nation.
maybe could be it. That might be what he's referring to. But he's he said he's going to be listening to him along with our 7 podcast listeners could come at him. He was talking about John Moran, how great he is, and I was like, oh, insert John Moran joke. But he said he'd be listening. So what's up, KD? Talking that trash. Also, haven't heard from you since you said that Western was going to get slaughtered. And guess what? Tops won, baby. So,
you sent me a screenshot of it. And I was actually going to text you and be like, hey, why don't you tell him we got a horse costume that we can do for Murray and we'll save the ass for him. But,
that'll work. Yeah. Dude, it was funny because he was talking so much trash and then not a freaking word after Western won.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I mean, like, I'm not a trash talking guy. So I get it. Twitter's out there for the haters. So you do you. But,
well,
and by the way, I think Vegas kind of did us dirty, giving Murray 1.5 points.
How's that?
Like, they thought that game was going to be that close. I mean, we won by 5.
Right.
But so we were over technically on points, but
were we favored or no?
No, Murray was favored.
Yeah, Murray was. I thought Murray was favored. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course the over under was 151. So we would have
over.
We would have gone out. We would have been over, and we would have been over points, because we beat Murray by 5. But
yeah.
So,
well, I mean, to put this win in perspective, like this really is a big deal because Western has struggled especially at Murray. It's a really difficult place to play. Western has a losing record at Murray all time. But the overall record is way above 500. Western's like 20 games above 500 or so. I forget. I didn't look at it in the last few minutes, but I think it was the 89th game, and WKU has won 20 more than they've lost. So, I mean, historically pretty dominant over Murray, but lately, obviously there was a hiatus for the last 9 years because they were afraid to play us. But
obviously,
right, scared,
just like the Cates, they ain't gonna play us.
Yeah,
for charity.
Meow. Right, exactly. But a huge win because I saw this from somebody on Twitter, and they said that I think it was James Brandenburg, former media member. I think it's with WBKO. He said that that Western had not beaten Murray at Murray in 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So historically significant. And Murray had not lost a non-conference home game in 6 years. So the fact that Lutz comes in and basically Western controlled this game. They didn't dominate it, but Western was basically in control for most of the game, except a little, kind of in the second half, Murray took over for a little bit. And then Tops came back and turned it on. and easily won after taking back control. I mean, for them to come in and beat Murray at all was impressive, but the way that they did it, where they basically controlled it, didn't play great defense this time. I mean, Murray definitely exposed WKU on some defensive issues. Tops gave up 81 points. Murray shot well and everything, but Western's offense was able to overcome it. I mean, it's an impressive victory. Obviously, it's a big rival that they finally were willing to renew. And guess what? You go in and you beat them at their place when you haven't in forever. But also just the fact that overcoming that much recent history in your third game and looking good doing it. I mean, Lutz is doing some things, man. It's really.
It's pretty exciting. It really is. Wow.
I mean, they're playing they're playing their balls off, man. I mean, they're out there. They're getting after it. I mean, this is. I saw something. Actually, the guys in the broadcast said that they talked to Jim Richards, Coach Jim Richards, former Western coach, really nice man. From he coached in the 70s, and he basically said, I haven't seen defense coached like this on the Hill since I did it. So that includes all the Sweet 16s post 1971. Basically, he said that he felt like this was the best defensive potential of anybody.
Wow.
Since the 70s. So that spoke volumes. And whether that he really means that or whether it's kind of a hyperbole or whatever, it doesn't matter. The fact that he's saying like this brand of defense is something that we haven't seen in decades is a huge statement because like you think of Dennis Felton, I mean, he had some really good fundamental teams that played hard and everything. Ralph Willard had some teams that played defense and some of the others. But a lot of times Western's been an offensive juggernaut and they just kind of survive on defense. Well, Lutz is going to play defense and the Tops are going to run. And so I can't wait to see where it goes. But there's going to be some teams that are just about ready to vomit this year because of the pace and the intensity. They're not going to be able to handle it. And so I can't wait to see where this goes.
I mean, honestly, like, it makes sense by like what we were hearing right after Coach Lutz took over in the spring. Yeah. He was running dudes, and word was they're puking, they're not doing real well in practice, and he's basically just doing sprints for an hour. And it's like, honestly, like at the time, I thought, well, he's just trying to run dudes off. Mm-hmm. But I'm guessing he was trying to get dudes in shape to do the system he's wanting to do. Which is we're gonna run you in the ground basically, and y'all gonna be tired by the time the third and fourth.
I mean, I love it, man. Like it's so quick fire. Like even the substitutions. Yeah. Within a minute or two, he's got 2 or 3 subs coming in. Like they are not. I mean, they're basically like his workouts. They're just sprinting, and then they go all out, and then they get a break fairly quickly. I mean. It's fun to watch. It's almost like a hockey kind of thing where he's just switching them in and out, and you just keep going. And it's been amazing to watch. Excuse me. So
yes. Hello, Abby.
Hello.
Can you say hi to Matt and everybody?
Hi.
Hey, Abby. How you been, girlfriend?
Good.
Yeah. Oh, you're getting big. I can tell. You can answer questions. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, she's able to talk now. We're able to have a conversation.
Yeah, we can have a conversation. Who do you like to cheer for? You like to cheer for Western?
Yes.
You say, go Tops.
Go Tops.
That's adorable.
Okay. Where's Mom? It's bath time, right?
Yeah, right.
There you go. Yeah, it's bath time. We got to get our bath. Yep. Go, Mama.
You need a bath.
You need a bath.
Good morning. Thank you.
Said, Daddy, you stink.
Yep, pretty much.
So my kids tell me, like, Daddy, oh, You stink.
Well, that's okay.
You wash your mouth.
Was it yesterday? She said something to me, and I said, "Well, I never tell you you stunk. I'll call you Stinky Abby." Just like giving her grief, and she's like, "Mom." Yeah. Okay.
Daddy said
So I was gonna give you the odds. What did I do with my phone? Stinking kid! Did she knock my phone off? Anyway,
Daggum kids.
there's my phone. Sorry, I was gonna give the odds real quick on the Western and Kentucky State. I don't even know if they've got it posted.
Oh Lord!
Because, well, I mean, of course, ESPN Plus has us at 99%, which is fine. But I'm going to say that it's like not even worth betting. Yeah, they don't have. They don't have us up. They've got us and Sam Houston. They're giving Western 12.5 against Sam Houston. So
yeah, it's interesting. I would steer clear of that.
I was going to say I'm not willing to do money line. Of course,
money
money line's not paying.
thing.
Let's talk football real quick. Let's go ahead and slide into it since we're
sure.
on the topic.
All right.
It's pretty depressing. Even last week we were talking about it. And of course our schedules couldn't work out, so it was, not going to get somebody hurt to just, do a podcast. So Western played UTEP the week before, and it just really was not a pretty game for winning. I feel like we should have thumped them completely. And basically we had a team who won in the third quarter. I feel like the offense showed up at the end of halftime, and they left right at the midway in the fourth. I'm just saying.
Yeah, obviously the end result was 21-13, and you get a win, and it's a road win and all that, but it's just the way that it happened. It was just like, God, if we play like that against New Mexico State, we're going to get stomped. And guess what?
Then what happened?
Yeah, well, they played, honestly, we played better, and we still got stomped because that was how bad we were the week before. I mean, it's just, I honestly,
something's up.
The New Mexico State game, honestly, I think we played one of our better, more consistent games, and they were just better.
Yeah.
I mean, they just wanted it more. I've been saying it all year. They're just going through the motions. They're clocking in to a commission job. That's how it feels to me. Like, I work for. Yeah. It's like it doesn't matter what my effort is. I'm just clocking in and, hope it works out. If it doesn't, oh well. And I know they don't feel that way, but that's what that's
what we're seeing.
Energy. Yeah.
That's what we're seeing. Yeah. And it's very frustrating to watch. It is very frustrating to, and I hate it. I love football. I love Western football. You cut me, I bleed red. I can prove it. But, it's just very hard to watch.
Can we do that sometime? We'll put it on YouTube.
You want to cut me to see if I actually bleed red? That's what I always loved. That's what I always liked with. That's what I always liked with UK fans. I bleed blue, and I'd be like, "Okay, prove it."
Yes, I'd love to sacrifice you on
blood
an altar.
Red. So anyway, it's so frustrating to watch that game. With UTEP and New Mexico State, because even, a 4-and-out's rough, and, scores are cool, and everybody's, oh, yeah, we're doing good. But, you look at the sideline, and nobody's excited.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying you should jump up and down like you won the Super Bowl, but I feel like you should, whoop, whoop, wow, yeah, woo, woo, yeah.
Yeah,
and there's just nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I think that, I think about our time there, whatever. And there were times that there wasn't that much chemistry on the team, and it was just kind of going through the motions and stuff. But it's just, the Tyson Helton sidelines have always been just kind of there. And this year, I think it really made a difference in the outcomes in games, because they did have some injuries and they had some things not going their way. And it doesn't matter how much talent you have if you don't have the the motivation to get out there. Like football is a tough sport. You can't just go out there and go through the motions
No.
and expect to win when someone's just as good as you, and they're going all in every play. I mean, it's not how it works, and so they've just constantly, I'd say, slightly underachieved in every game. I mean, it's not like they've been god awful all year, that they're 0-12 and stuff like that, but like they just haven't performed up to expectation. There's always been a little something missing, and it's now come to fruition where you've got this team that was supposed to be like basically a team of destiny. And
Yeah.
there were tons of injuries and stuff like that, but now you're 5-5 and you're fighting
To get a bowl
to
game.
even get a bowl game. You may not even get it if you only get 6 wins. I think you probably will, but I mean, it's incredibly possible, in my opinion, that we go to FIU hoping that we can squeeze one out against FIU, because Sam Houston is dangerous.
Yeah.
They're 2-8, I think, but they have a very good defense that may have gone under the radar for a lot of people. But I mean, they played BYU and they lost 14-0. If they had any kind of offense, they could have beaten BYU.
They beat La Tech.
They beat La Tech. I mean, they've got momentum. I think they've won 2 games in a row, haven't they? After starting 0-8.
Yeah, they beat La Tech and they beat
Kennesaw State.
Kennesaw State, yeah. Sorry, I was
comeback. Yeah. So their offense has been getting better all year. Their defense may have regressed a little bit from the beginning of the year, but they are a very good defense, and it is not a good matchup, in my opinion. I haven't studied the stats and looked at all their personnel and all that stuff yet, but just kind of observing what they've been doing, they play some defense, and WKU sometimes goes to sleep and doesn't produce on offense. That is not a good combination.
Yeah.
When you could have this sludge fest on senior night, and Sam Houston could eke out some kind of freak win, even though they have no business being even close to WKU. But here we are. So I sincerely hope that's not what happens.
I can say with certainty that their quarterback, his name is Keegan Shoemaker, has the ugliest mustache I've ever seen. You got to pull it up.
All right, I'll look it up here.
He is, I just saw it, and it's not good. It's just not that great.
I can't wait to see this.
It's not horrible. It's a Ron Jeremy style. Just so our listeners have a visual. It's not thick, but
what's Ron Jeremy famous for, Devin?
You know what Ron Jeremy's famous for.
All right, what's the guy's name?
Keegan Shoemaker. I just clicked on his ESPN picture because they got him. Stat-wise, he's done pretty well this year. He's got 1,605 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, 63% completion percentage. So he's done really well. Like you said, they're 2-8. So this team is not a team that has quit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, any other team, you'd be like, this is crap. Let's go home. We're getting a scholarship. We'll go to class and do our stuff and be all right. But this team seems like they're in it to fight. And like you said, if you don't take it seriously and you think you can coast and you're entitled, kind of like this team has kind of given off that vibe, then you're going to get thumped and you're going to come home begging, praying to the football gods that FIU can fail to beat us, which in all aspects we should beat FIU as well, but it's not a guarantee either.
Yeah. I mean, looking at his stats alone is interesting because first 2 games at BYU against Air Force, obviously Air Force has been really good this year. He had 147 yards and 44 yards passing, respectively, in each of those games. Rushing, he had 13 yards and -10. From that point forward, he had at least 200 yards passing in every game. He had at least one touchdown. He had no touchdowns in the first 2 games. He had positive rushing yards in every game except the game against Kennesaw State. And he had double-digit rushing yards 5 of the last 6 games. So he absolutely turned his season around, and now he's a competent quarterback that could possibly lead his team to victory if he's given a chance.
Yeah.
So it just kind of, I feel funny about it, and I feel like a lot of people do just because of how this team has played. But I'm kind of feeling squirrely about, I don't know, man, like this could easily be an upset on senior night and be, like you talk about, like I've been thinking about, okay, if WKU can win the last 2 games and we can go to a bowl game and win it, then you get 8-5, and it's like you salvage somewhat of the season. Like it's okay. But man, if you lose to Sam Houston or FIU, or you lose the bowl game, oh my gosh, it's going to be Armageddon in the eyes of WKU fans, especially if you end up not making a bowl game or you go like 6-7 or something. Oh, it's going to be bad. I mean, this was the dream season, and it's already crap.
Is it going to be Armageddon, or is it going to be a ghost town? Because that's my bet. I feel like everybody's going to pack up, and they're going to just walk over to Diddle and be like, that crap over there ain't worth going to pay for.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely – there's going to be some apathy going on, but those that choose to have their eyeballs melt
Indiana Jones style, just for y'all wondering.
Right. Pick your visual that you want to do. But I mean, man, it just feels like they need to win these 3 so that they don't have a freaking disaster on their hands, and that's a tough ask because Sam Houston's tough. FIU, you go on the road, and like if you've already got bowl eligibility and you know you're probably in a bowl game, are you that motivated? You're not playing for conference pride or anything. It's just kind of like, what's your reason to be there? It's their senior night. You've had a season that you thought you were going to win a championship and you're not. Like, are you that motivated? And then the bowl game, same thing. Like, I think you can get up for a bowl game, but do they have the mental, intensity and focus to be able to go up and prepare for a bowl game and after some disappointment? I mean,
are we expecting another Georgia State? What was it?
Georgia State. Yeah, that was brutal. I hope not. I mean, but this year has gone in some ways, and I do not think that Tyson Helton is Mike Sanford. As not.
No, I don't either. I'm not saying that.
Not to that level, but like it's gone that direction as far as like the clear discombobulation of this team. Like there's something that's not quite right, and there's some dissension. You see Austin Reed kind of fighting it out with Hollingshead, and he's kind of barking at his receivers and all that. It's been like that all year. And he's throwing ducks, and I mean there's just a lot of like what exactly is going on here. Like it's definitely not a team that has just had some bad luck, and but they're still together and they're fighting. I mean there's some lack of chemistry for sure.
Well, and another thing that we're kind of letting off of the hook against UTEP was, I don't know if you heard this or not, but the quarterback for UTEP is the 4th string quarterback.
Oh,
or also known as the long snapper. Yeah, that's what they told, that he was like the long snapper. They had moved him to long snapper, and then like the 3 quarterbacks in front got hurt, so they were like, "Hey, come back over here and play quarterback for a little bit."
So it'd be the equivalent of having like Willie Taggart Jr. come back as from receiver to quarterback.
No, it would be like
not even.
It would be like when we were
Rob
there.
Johnson.
Rod Johnson. I was going to say Ross Cassidy because he was actually the long snapper
Okay.
when I was there. I don't know if you remember Ross, great guy.
Yeah, I think
Fun
I knew who
story.
he was, but I don't think I met him.
Fun story. We had a Halloween practice, and he was one of the guys that had a class during practice.
Uh-huh.
So he comes back just in time for the field goal to win with Coach Elson. That was the way we ended every practice, and he comes back for the field goal to win dressed as Mr. Incredible from the Incredibles Disney movie. Greatest thing ever. It was great. Hilarious.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, of course, Western, facing that kid and then going against New Mexico State, who are 8-3 right now, so I can't knock them. They're doing really well.
Oh yeah, they
Basically
turned on. They
knocked
look
us
like
out
crap.
of conference championship contention, basically. So
They look like crap earlier in the year. Like they look like what our season has become the first few games of their year. But they turned it around, and that quarterback, he's not the greatest passer, and he didn't even have a great passing game against Western. But he's so versatile, and especially in person. I don't know if it came across when you're watching it on TV, but he has the build of a running back. I mean, he's like shorter than his running back, and he's a tough guy. And it was just tough Western always struggles with mobile quarterbacks for whatever reason. But he leads the team in rushing. And he's just a tough guy that gets stuff done. And I was impressed with him.
He's billed on ESPN at 6 foot 200 pounds.
That's horse manure. That is absolute garbage. He can't be. I mean, he might have been wearing 3-inch heels at the time, but I mean, he might be 5'10". I mean, he is not tall.
So the running back, Star Thomas, is listed at 6 foot 225. So this says
he is absolutely shorter than him, 100% shorter than him.
Okay, but I mean, and it's the same story every time. Western's offense showed up for like half a game, and we had a couple scores later on. That's it. We had 14 points in the first, basically 21 to end of the first half, and then we scored 7 points, and they had basically 28 unanswered points. I mean, we had 2 scores there, but we had 28 altogether. Other than that, so.
I think I view it a little differently. I think that this was one of the game. This was the one game this year that I do feel like we showed some fight back, I guess. I mean, like they scored 17 in a row, right? And then we come back and score before halftime. We moved the ball in the second half, and we had some production. Some of it was you miss a field goal that is, creating momentum. You miss a guy wide open in the end zone. Like we had opportunities to actually do something. Unlike some of the games where you literally did nothing in the second half and either held on to win or found a way to melt down the lead or whatever. In this one, I felt like it was actually the most consistent effort offensively of the entire season. I think the defense was the issue this game where they just couldn't stop them.
Yeah.
So that was my interpretation, but I could absolutely be off on that. But that was how I felt about it.
I agree.
That was one of the better consistent performance. They were just better. They were just a better team, and they wanted it more. And when they tasted it, they took it.
And I mean, you can't fault them. Like Matt said, Western had 437 total yards, 1 turnover, and 26 first downs, where New Mexico State had 377 total yards, no turnovers, and 21 first downs. So we literally would walk, further to get the same, aspect of stuff and to get the same score, and we're not getting it. And they didn't have to work as hard for their scores. So, it's defensive issues there. I did see a little breaking news right here. The NCAA has denied waivers to make James Madison and Jacksonville State Bowl eligible, meaning Duke's ineligible to play in Sun Belt title game. Sources told Action Network HQ in its second year transitioning from FCS to FBS, James Madison University is ineligible for the league title but the Dukes appealed because of their 10-0 start. James Madison and Jacksonville State can still play in a bowl if there are not 82 bowl-eligible teams.
Right.
At Action Network is projecting there will not be enough bowl-eligible teams, allowing JMU and JSU to play in a bowl game. So,
And that's fine, but that's the rules that they signed up for. That does, in my opinion, like I know some people said that's archaic and whatever. And I'm thinking, I don't know if you agreed with it, but we went through the transition
yeah.
and we did not win. And that's how it normally goes. So it really
Well,
doesn't
let's
it hasn't
clarify
mattered
which-
until now.
Let's clarify which transition we went through before we tell that. So,
Oh, well, I used to be a woman. So I don't know, what transition are you talking about, Devin?
I was talking about college football. I was not talking about that. No, they
shoot.
Yeah, no, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to out you on the air.
Oh.
But no, they
You.
yeah, they
Anyway.
but like no joke. Like I mean, we went through the college football transition, and you had 2 years, so you got to sit on it. That's all you got.
I mean, that's what you agreed to.
Yes.
It's part of it. They happen to have transitioned quite well.
Now
good for them, but-
I maybe I'm being a little liberal with it, but I almost think that if you are eligible to play in a bowl game and there's not enough, then I don't see why they can't take guys from the peanut gallery, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? If you have, let's say you've got 10 teams transitioning from FCS to FBS, and you've got, you don't have 82, you've got 72. And these teams have won every game they played. Throw them in there. Let them play.
Yeah, I agree with that. But like they just want to bend the rules because they've had a good season. Like,
yeah, but I don't think you should be eligible for conference titles by any means. And I also don't believe that if you get in trouble with the NCAA, they take away wins. I don't think that should be fair.
I agree with that too. I mean, that's just punishing often the people that didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. I don't think you should. I don't think you should punish the teams with losses. If you want to take away championships, go for it. But I don't think you should take away wins. That team won that game. It's not like they were out there with hockey sticks whacking people in basketball. I mean, it's
right.
Oh, well, that player played. That's not fair. Well, it's kind of fair. So just let it go. But Western is going to be playing Sam Houston. 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 Central, and that is going to be on ESPN Plus for those of you who can't make it. And it's going to be in Bowling Green at the Houch.
Yeah,
ESPN
Houch.
At Western. It's going to be senior night. Western has an 81.6% chance of victory. So 8 out of 10 games, Western wins 8. Seems pretty fair to me.
Yes, sir.
You think it's a little off or no?
Against Sam Houston?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we should beat them. That's how it should be. I mean, that sounds like the right percentage. It's at home, but they're still transitioning into FBS. Like, yes, and you were the conference favorite before. Yeah, we should win. I just have a funny feeling. I think I'll end up picking a win, but I do not feel confident about it at all.
Okay.
So,
do you want to pick a winner or no?
Yeah, I'll pick a winner. I mean, I'm going to say out of necessity, I'm going to pick Western. I just can't bring myself to barf out that Sam Houston State's going to win. But I'll say I think it might be ugly. Low scoring, and watch, it'll be like 52-49 or something.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be low scoring, and I'll say like 19-13 WKU.
Good Lord, man, that's boring.
Something weird, yeah.
Oh, that's a boring game.
Paint dry type of football.
I will go the opposite route, just so we have our bases covered. And I will say that Western will cover the over, and it will be, let's see.
What is the over?
52.5.
Okay.
I'm going to say
I think I'd
that
take the under.
Western. Well, that's why you did that. Western is going to cover, and it's going to be. Let's see. I'm going to say. I'll say 32 to 24.
Okay.
So it's within
Absolutely
8
possible.
points. We're going to get the under, and we're going to go over points. So
Fair enough, man. I mean, you don't know with this team. That's what is so freaking frustrating about it. You have no idea what's going to
yeah, I
happen
mean,
week to week.
historically, like I said in our Towel Rack, what went right and wrong, you could sit down and say, okay, we can depend on this person. Back in the day, Ty Story, we could do, Bailey Zappi. We knew this team's going to do this. This team's going to do this. We've got Devin Key on defense, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
You knew where pieces would fall. You knew who would step up. And this team is just a crapshoot, man.
Yeah.
Like metaphorical crapshoot. You throw the dice, and that's who's going to step up that game. I mean, honestly, UTEP game, I would not have bet Elijah Young scoring.
Yeah.
If
By
I
the
did
way,
a
what a
prop bet,
find on him. I mean, shout out to him. He's been killing it last couple games.
If I did a prop bet on who would score, I would not have said Elijah Young before that game.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It was a wild thing, but let me go over real quick. We're going to talk game day stuff. Volleyball 10 a.m. on the 17th, so that'll be Friday on ESPN Plus against Jacksonville State. They're going to be playing all weekend in their tournament, and
right, because they're going to win 3 games, baby.
We will update that next week and talk about. Hopefully, they're going dancing, like Matt says. The Lady Tops will be playing. Lady Tops basketball will be playing 1 p.m. on Saturday on ESPN Plus against Miami, Ohio, in Oxford, Ohio.
Just right now, currently as we broadcast, the Tops are down 3 against Vanderbilt.
I was going to say we'll update the Vandy, Miami, Ohio, Bucknell scores next week. We play Bucknell on the 21st, 12 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus as well, so you can watch that one. Men's basketball plays 8 p.m. on November 18th at ESPN Plus against Kentucky State. That's at home in Bowling Green. And then football plays Sam Houston Bearcats in Bowling Green at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 Central on ESPN Plus as well. So all of those are on ESPN Plus, so definitely check those out. If you're in Bowling Green, support the Tops. It's Senior Day. They will appreciate it so much.
And then doesn't men's basketball play that night too?
Against Kentucky State, yes.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if you mentioned that. Sorry.
Yep.
But it is a doubleheader on the hill. So when football gets boring, go eat it fresh, get diarrhea, and then come over to Diddle.
Which, by the way, what do you call the building there?
It's Duck.
It's always Duck. It's Duck. They changed the name supposedly to the Student
Union, DSU.
Yes, which, by the way, no, it's Duck. It will forever be Duck.
Have you been in there since they fixed it?
Like, it's really nice in there. I've been in it. I think within the past 6 months, I'll say that.
Okay.
I've been in, and it's super nice. Definitely going to have to take my child to Mecca and show her around Mommy and Daddy's old haunts. Maybe when she gets a little older.
Right.
But yes, it is fun watching games with her because she'll be like, Where's Western? And I'm like, there's Western, kid. There's Austin Reed, there's Elijah Young, there's Malachi Corley, whoever's on screen. I'm like, that guy plays for Western. No, where's Western? And then Big Red pops up and she goes, there he is.
There's Western,
like,
yeah.
There's Western. And you go, oh, okay. I got you, kiddo. I got you.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, definitely check back next week. We will be updating volleyball, Lady Tops basketball, men's basketball, football, and more. So definitely check back with us. Appreciate you, Matt.
Yeah, man.
If anything comes up, we will definitely be updating via Twitter or whatever. So make sure to check back. And as always, guys, go Tops.
Go Tops.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Love you.
Love you too. All right.
Oh.